Hello everybody. This is Mary at Yard Art or Us. It's Sunday. Let's see, December the 6th. And I am going to show you guys how to paint our little Valentine's Cupid. He's basically meant to be a silhouette. And so these are at the shop. You guys, some of you guys have already been buying them. So he's just meant to be a silhouette, and he is going to have some white shading all around. I'm going to show you what I did. So what I did is I actually base coated this with 2 coats of number 20 red. And so I just went ahead and put 2 base coats of number 20 red on here and let it dry in between each coat. And I am going to take a, I'm going to try to find it. I think I'm going to use this thing right here. I've got a number 16 shading. It's just a flat tip brush. And I'm going to just use white paint. There's a lot of different things you could do with this, but what I really like is just the idea of a simple Cupid silhouette for Valentine's Day. And just so you guys know, this guy is, I think he's 28 inches tall, and he sells for $28, and we have him at the shop. I was actually, hey Miss Victoria, I was actually supposed to be on here last night and do the live last night, but things were not good around here. Things got away from me. It was super crazy at the shop yesterday, and just to be quite honest, I forgot it was Saturday. I was working until probably 10 o'clock last night doing proofs on stuff, trying to do special orders, and it was just, I say special orders, they were really personalized orders. So I thought, I know Miss Victoria is going to be on here tonight, so I'm going to hop on here this afternoon and squeeze this live in. And I'm just basically, now I'm going to put some black paint in here, so this will recess, and I'm going to put some black paint in here, so that will recess. But I'm not going to do that until I have all the white, and all I'm going to do is do some shading around the perimeter of this guy. And so there's not a whole lot to it, and it's just an idea. You could do it any way you want. I just kind of thought, you know, I really just like the idea of just doing some very simple shading around the whole piece. And normally around the edges we would do what I think of as really as outlining. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do some shading around the edges and just kind of give it a little bit definition. And I'm not going to outline it. I'm just going to leave the shading in place because I kind of like that idea. So the weather's so much better today than yesterday. Maybe that was part of why I felt like I was kind of off my game some yesterday. I just could not get my mojo going. And I think a lot of it was just the weather was yucky, y'all. And I wasn't expecting that. I listened to the weather guy, and they kept saying how it was going to be beautiful weather and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't know where they were, but it wasn't beautiful weather here. So I'm going to be going around the face of the hairline right here, and I'm just taking some of that white paint with my brush and just giving it a little bit of a definition by doing some shading. And I think, first of all, I've always been a fan of red and white. To me, they're very simple. It's a very simple but classy color combination. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put some red and white on this guy. I kind of keep flipping him around. Hey, Jennifer, how are you? I'm so glad you could join me. I was saying just a little bit earlier, I was supposed to be on here last night, and I would love to tell y'all that, you know, that I have some great big excuse for it. But the truth is, time really got away from me, and I looked up, it was 11 o'clock last night, and I thought, oh, my lands. So we have been really busy. Today's been a little better. I mean, I've been at the house. I didn't go to the shop today because when I go over there, I just can't get away kind of thing. So I stayed at the house today. And I've been doing all sorts of things, but been working on this guy. I took him outside since we have some good sunshine and base coated him twice. For those of you that just logged on, I base coated this guy twice with the number 20 red. And I'm just going around and I'm giving this guy some definition. I'm just doing some shading white with the white paint that we have. In fact, I think white is number 35 white. Yeah, so far I've got 2 colors on here. Number 20 red and number 35 white. Now you could do all sorts of things on here if you wanted to do a stencil and maybe put patterns all around here. I really just like the idea of a very simple silhouette shaded in white, so that's what I'm doing. And let's see, I'm gonna do this. And then I'm going to put a little bit of black on here. I'm going to show you that. Now, basically at this point, he is just, I've got him, I'm going to kind of back up from the camera so you can see. That's what I've done so far with just some white shading, and I really like that. The only thing I might add, and it's just a personal preference, I might just kind of come in here and just make some brush strokes. And less is better, okay? Meaning I'm not going to do a lot. I'm just going to kind of go here, and I'm not even putting any more paint on my, this is just my brush with hardly no paint on it, because I'm not trying to do a whole lot. I just did a few brush strokes here and there and yonder. And I'm going to put a little bit of black on him, but that's all I'm going to do to this guy. So last night when I remembered I had forgotten the light, I thought, well, it's not that big a deal because it's not like this guy's very difficult. Now what I will do is I will take my script liner. In fact, I think I put this on the back. Nothing like Ashley's doing the sneak peek on this tomorrow, y'all. We kind of got the cart before the horse on this one. I actually have 3 colors on here, red, white, and black. That's all I'm gonna do. So if you decide you want to mix some red and black and do some shading on here, you could do that and have your shading red. Hey Ursula, how are you? I'm so glad you could join me. I'm just doing a little bit of black here because I really want this part to kind of recess and go away. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. This is the spot between the arm and the arrow. Now, the reason, and I know sometimes it, you know, you guys might not always really understand what we have to do. It's one thing to draw a design. It's a whole nother thing to draw a design that is what I would consider what I call CNC friendly. Meaning you can draw anything, but it doesn't mean you're going to be successful at getting the CNC to create what you drew. And the reason for that is you have to remember the bit on your CNC is, most of them are not as big as my pinky, but quite about like that. Then you also have to think about the fact that there are in some cases, which is a lot of what I did right here. The reason I didn't cut this part out, and I probably could have got that CNC bit in there to do that. But the reason I didn't cut this part out, as far as yard art goes, if you cut that out, then what that means is you've got this little arrow right out here hanging out all by itself. And it can handle that. The problem is if it falls down, somebody hits it, it slams down on the ground, then the chances of your arrow getting broken are pretty doggone good. Hey, Macon, how are you? Hey, Loopy, I'm so glad y'all could join me. And I just, so after all the years that we have done this, we've kind of gotten to the point where we draw stuff that if the worst happens and it falls down, because stuff, you know, like outside it gets windy, and it's just people walk by it, maybe the lawnmower hits it, all kinds of things can happen. So because of that, we tend to draw things that we know that if it hits the ground, you don't have any loose pieces right out there where it's going to break off very easily. Because the last thing you want after you put a lot of work into something is to have it break. So all I'm doing is filling in this black part that I want to recess. In other words, I want to kind of make it go away a little bit and not be so prominent. And that's really all I'm doing. And let me show you what it looks like. And he's super cute, and there's really not much to him. So there he is. That's what he's going to look like out in your yard. This guy is in the store if you decide this is something you want, and he is available. So Miss Victoria is going to be in here tonight, but I wanted to hop on and show you this, but I also have one other thing I want to show you. Now, one of the things I'm going to do a live on, I think Well, I tell you what, I have my trusty calendar right here, so I can tell you. So Miss Victoria will be on tonight, and she's doing the New Year's gnome and the wine glass. Ashley will do the sneak peek tomorrow. And then on Tuesday, I will be doing a New Year's live for you guys, and a New Year's gnome live. So let me show you what I'm going to be doing on Tuesday. Now, this is the guy that I'm going to be doing on Tuesday. I actually have 5 of them right here. I'm going to do the live on this guy, but the guy that's at the store that's for sale is bigger. We cut these out, and I looked at them, and I didn't think they were big enough, and they're too small. But I'm going to go ahead and use them as an example. But if you choose to buy this guy, he'll be bigger than this guy, because this guy's just too little, I thought. And it's a Happy New Year's gnome. Now, I put 202, and I left this over here to freehand, so you could do 2021. Next year, you could do 2022, 2023, etc. Let me change my camera so y'all can see this. Hold on just a second. I want to make sure that you guys can see that. Okay, now, so basically, I left this part right over here so you could freehand that. And that way you can put in a 1, and then the year after you can sand that off and put in a 2, and then a 3. Because I want to make sure that if you do that, you want something to last for more than just 1 year. Yard art should be able to last for a long time. But a little bit of what I'm doing right now in front of the camera for y'all. For those of you that paint just a single item, just for fun, and that's a lot of you guys, and you may use a brush to base coat, which that's perfectly fine. But I want to show you a lot of the times, if you're trying to do something where you're trying to produce, I've got 5 of these, right? And so what I did is I just took this, so here's 5 of them, right? I've got them all neatly stacked on top of each other. And the trick to doing this right is to make sure that that every angle matches. They're very, very, for lack of a better word, aligned with one another. Here's a little Lazy Susan. I think it's an 8-inch Lazy Susan. You can tell I use it a lot. And I put it right here, and then I set this right here. So what I'm gonna do, I've got my little roller. Y'all know we use little rollers a lot. And this is just a little lint roller. You can get it any home improvement store, I think, sells them. So instead of me trying to worry about base coating something by itself, I'll show you what I do. Put this in front of the camera. So I base coat this way. Now, I'm not gonna be able to get in every single edge and every nook and cranny, but that's okay. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So I put this on my little Lazy Susan apparatus, or whatever you want to call it. I call it a Lazy Susan. I think that's the right word. And I just basically go around here, and I am rollering all of my edges at one time. It takes about the same amount of time to roller 5 edges as it does 1. So I say if you're going to do these in multiples, get you a little Lazy Susan. That's what I've done for years. And I just keep rollering and doing this way. These are the kind of things that we talk about, or the videos that I show in the academy. Y'all, I think today's the last day you can join. I think it's today. And just these sort of things that I've learned over all the years that kind of help if you're trying to get through something. Or a lot of the reason I do this isn't just for speed, which is important. I don't like painting the edges, and base coating is my least favorite thing. So, you know, if you like to base coat, this might not be something you'd want to do. Me, not so much on the base coating. I like the decorative painting. So what I'm going to do, and I'll show you here, because I don't really care for the base coating, I want whatever part I really don't like that much to go away quickly. So I've got my mop brush here, and what am I going to do? These I'm going to, let me put it over here where you can see, hopefully y'all can see that. I just use my little mop brush, and I just kind of basically do it this way. And that way your edges are good to go. Because you always want those edges to be covered with paint for 2 reasons. Number 1, it looks good, and number 2, it does help protect the material. You know, because it's going to be out there in the element. But we have all sorts of videos along the lines of what I'm showing you right now in the academy, just to give people oh, I guess that real behind the scenes look of what is it that we do that we have found success with over all the years to be able to produce as much as we do. And well, this is just kind of one of those things. You can see down here, I'm reaching these nooks and crannies, and it does make your brush get all kind of junky looking. That's just normal, but it is a lot easier doing it this way. And I just kind of make myself kind of go back and forth there. And I think I have them all on this side pretty good like. And I just kind of sit here and make this thing move around and do it like this till I get all the paint everywhere that I want. And that's the thing about having a roller. A roller's not going to be able to get into these little bitty places. Hope you guys don't have any questions because I'm not really looking at the comments. But if you do, I'll go back, I promise, and I'll answer anything you might have. Now these actually have the rebar or the stakes already in them, not rebar, but from now on that will not be the case as you buy more blanks from the store or we ship them to you. We will still pre-drill the holes for you and we will give you that cold roll steel, but you will have to hammer it in yourself. We've made that change. It's going to help cut shipping cost, but it's also going to help our people that insure us, make them a little happier because they don't like the fact that these are sitting out there and anybody walking by in our display area can get hurt. It's the last thing we would want. And so I'm going to be just about done. And this way you can see I'm not spending a ton of time. This pattern's a little difficult in that the edges are kind of weird shape, the outer shape of this thing, I guess, is kind of got all kinds of little grooves and cuts in it. So it takes a little longer than something that's not quite as complicated. But I think I got that the way I want it. And then I'm going to put a little more paint here. And of course, this is just my base coat. Because these got cut the wrong size, I'm going to go ahead and paint them and sell them at our shop, at our store. So I'm actually doing the live on this on Tuesday for the whole thing. But I wanted to give y'all an idea of the things that you can do if you want to try to save some time. And these are the kinds of things that we talk about in the Academy. I think now we've got 30 or 40 how-to videos in there and maybe like 70 or 80 project videos in that platform. So all the way from last spring until now. And there's a lot of videos in there kind of behind the scenes of what our shop looks like, how we set up our shop, some of the CNC. There's some videos in there talking about how to choose your color palette. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in there. And see, I'm just picking these up and I'm setting them aside, of course. Just get the base coat on there. And I tend to go back and forth, up and down. That way you make sure you've got a good coat of paint on all the area. Got a little problem there. And if I see a little bit of trash in my paint, I'll just take my finger and pick it out, put it on my table. Because my tables are not too good, but that's just because I've been painting on them for who knows how many years I've had these. Some more paint. But you can see with the roller, you can get a lot done very, very quick. Now, I guess the downside is you may have to have a roller for every color or just wash your roller out in between different projects. You've got a project you're base coating white, use it, then just go wash it out. And then if you got a project maybe later you're base coating red, because you've washed this out, you're good to go. So just in the little time that I've been on here, how many coats will this need? Hey, that is a great question. So here's the deal. What I do is this. In this case, because I know that this guy is going to have a lot of different colors to him, I'm not going to put 2 full coats of white. If you will tune in, I think I'm doing this on Tuesday. I can show you a little bit more about what I'm talking about. But on Tuesday, I'll be base coating the colors on this guy. And because I know the only thing that's really going to be white on him is his beard right in here, I don't feel like I should recoat this whole thing in white, because this is probably going to, the hat's probably going to be yellow. Maybe the banner's going to be purple. Of course, this is his flesh, so that will be, the nose and the hands will be flesh color. And because of that, this part is going to be, the beard's going to be white. So what I probably will do, and I can do this on Tuesday when I show you guys, I will put a little bit more of a white coat just on the beard part. But I'm not going to spend all that time recoating the whole thing in white, because I know I'm going to cover most of it up with a color other than white. Now, if this was an item that, let's say, over 50% of the end product was going to be white, I probably would go ahead and roller a whole second coat on. But what's the point in rollering 2 coats of white on this when I know this is going to be covered in yellow? That's flesh, this is probably purple, black feet or shoes down here. It's just kind of a waste of white because I'm going to cover it up. But I will come in here, and I'll do that on Tuesday, showing y'all, put a little bit more white on his beard. And then, of course, I'll be shading the beard. But that's a good question. So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've done 5 of these in the little bit of time that we were talking, that I've showed you, you know, basically a lot of the kind of the things that we do around here to kind of make our life a little faster. I don't really like to base coat, so I kind of try to make that part go as fast as I can. Hey, if you like to base coat and that's your thing, you know, and that's really relaxing, then I would just use the brush. And let me see if I can see any more comments. Okay. How many coats will these need? Hey, Stefania, how are you? Hi, Karen. Oh, man, I hate that I missed all these comments. But anyway, hey, Jan, how are you? See, my thing is not, my phone's not wanting to cooperate. Steph, how are you doing? Jennifer, good to see you. So I'm going to be back on here on Tuesday, and I'm going to show you. And again, if you buy this guy in the store, he's bigger than this. These got cut out too small, so I'm painting them, and I'm going to sell them at the store, but they're too small. So if you happen to want this guy, he's bigger than this. I'm going to be doing a live on him on Tuesday at 7. Miss Victoria will be on tonight doing the wine glass gnome at 7. Ashley will do tomorrow a sneak peek, which you've already seen 2 or 3 of our items, but she'll have it on there. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Oh, I'm hoping you, oh, good, helpful hints. Hey, that is awesome. You know, that's the whole point of what we do. We have made, I don't know how many mistakes. I would like to know how many times I've thrown something in the trash, because it's been a lot. But the only reason I'm where I'm at is because I threw it in the trash and just went and started it again. So I've made all those mistakes. So hopefully if there's anything, hey Norma, how are you? Anything that we can pass along to you guys to make your life a little easier, work a little smarter, and have fun doing it, we're all about that. So wanted to tell you, Ashley will be on tomorrow night for the sneak peek. I'll be on Tuesday. Miss Victoria will be on tonight. And the Academy does close tonight. So if you're thinking about that, we'd love to have you join us. And we will see you soon. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.